Good day, everyone. My name is Tori Giffen. I am the Assistant Director of Online Programs here at the University of Illinois in the College of Education. We are very excited to have you all here today for our information session on the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate. We will be covering the program, the courses that are in the certificate program, a little bit about how you could apply the courses in this program to a master's in education here at the University of Illinois. We'll also cover enrolling, application deadlines, things like that. And then we will have plenty of time for questions and answer at the end in case that there is anything that you miss. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to type them in the chat and send them to us, and we will get those as we go throughout the presentation. Also, if you think of anything afterwards, you can always reach us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. We'll be happy to answer those questions for you or follow up with you. And the same goes for anybody who is watching this session back online later. If you have questions, you are free to email us and we will be glad to help you and answer your questions. With that, just briefly want to introduce a couple of the other folks in online programs that you might engage with throughout your certificate program. Sangeetha Paula-Christian is the Assistant Dean for Online Learning and Innovation. We have Brianna Davis, who's our Online Student Advisor. There's myself. And then we have Gina Poff, who is our Online Academic Student Services Coordinator. She is here with us today. So if she answers any of your questions, you know that she is with us here in the College of Ed. And with that, just a few things about the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program. Throughout the program is set up so that you will learn to solve real-world problems and performances, integrating those technologies, and then master the key concepts. We'll hear a bit more about that from a faculty member here in a bit. Do want to also just quick cover that these two courses are worth college graduate credit. They are both worth for college credit hours here at the University of Illinois. One course is EPOL 472 and the other course is EPOL 483. We'll learn a little bit more about those courses specifically, but they are worth a total of 8 graduate credit hours. And upon completion of the program, or any of these courses, they can be applied to other certificate programs and degree programs here in the College of Education. In the MasterTrack certificate program, you are required to have a bachelor's degree before applying into the program. Tuition for both courses combined is $2,384. It takes about 3 to 5 months to complete. We'll cover a bit more about how that works. It really just depends on when you're starting and completing. For those of you that would be starting here with us this fall, it'll take you about 4 months, just the fall semester, as both courses are offered in the fall semester. You do earn degree credit. Each of the courses does have a weekly live session, and the courses do involve hands-on projects. We have lots of students in our certificate programs here at the college. They come from a variety of areas, as you can see here on the screen. We have students that have come from higher education, IT, military, business, K-12, and so on. And folks have gone on to have lots of other job titles and also come from lots of different job titles also and backgrounds. And so it's a pretty diverse cohort of students that are in each of the courses. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to our wonderful faculty member who has joined us today. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you, Tori. Okay.
Getting and go. Okay, I fixed it.
Great, thank you. Great seeing you all. Tori, seeing you again. Good afternoon to everybody, or good evening, or good morning, because I know that we have people from around the world. My name is Carolina Cuesta Hincapié, and I am a faculty member in the Department of Education, Policy, Organization, and Leadership at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. And I am the faculty that it's mainly going to be in charge of the MasterTrack certificate. So you will see me sometimes. I hope that that will be fun. So a little bit about me. My main research interest is on creative thinking and creativity and how to develop creativity in learning environments. And therefore, in our courses, I talk a little bit about creativity because I believe that creativity is extremely related to learning, right? So on top of learning about different models and theories about instructional design, you will learn a little bit about creativity, right? I also research on how to design and develop learning environments that foster the entrepreneurial mindset. That is another like area of my expertise. I have different degrees in my toolbox, as I'm gonna say, right? So I'm an advocate of interdisciplinarity. I'm a microbiologist, so I'm a scientist. I have a master's in innovation management, so we will try to link all of our designs to sometimes innovation, right? And how while we are being designing our learning experiences, we might also be innovating. So that is also very interesting. And those will be a lot of the topics that we will discuss in those live sessions, right? Those live sessions are extremely important because it's the moment in which you can share with your peers, share with me, different experience and expertise that we might all have, and that will enrich our sessions. And I'm very excited to meet you all, and I hope that I can see many of you joining in the courses or the program this fall. So next. Okay, so here we will talk briefly about the main courses that we have in the MasterTrack certificate. And the first one is called EPL 472, Instructional and Training Systems Design. This course is a foundational course that provides an overview of instructional systems design, right? And it will help you understand how to use different models, different theories to design effective, engaging, and meaningful learning experiences, right? So with this course, we will understand and put into practice the different principles of instructional design. Additionally, you will learn key components, right? And we learn how to differentiate different components of instructional design that are rooted in learning theories, instructional theories, right? So this course will prepare you to select, organize, develop effective instruction and training, right? As I was mentioning, it's a little bit theoretical, but this is key because what we want to start learning about the field is how we can be critical in terms of evaluating the different learning theories that exist. We want to learn how humans learn so we can actually tailor different learning experiences that are going to be appropriate, meaningful, and engaging. Next. How are we going to do this? How are we going to learn about this? How are we going to put this into practice? We have three major activities that you see here, right? And those are the instructional design project, because one of the instructional strategies that we use is learn by doing. So although we will learn a lot about theories, we'll put those into practice by working on instructional design project. We will work on case studies and case study scenario on instructional design, and we will have an e-portfolio development. The case studies, it's another instructional strategy that we use a lot because we can see a learning problem in the real world, right? And we will try to design different learning solutions that are going to solve that learning or performance problem, right? In the e-portfolio, it's a key component of this course because what we do as designers most of the time are artifacts, right? These artifacts could be cognitive artifacts, physical artifacts or learning courses, right? That is an artifact. And what we want our students to do is to learn how to showcase what they know, what they learn, and how they are practicing instructional design. So we will focus on you students to develop those skills in terms of developing a learning portfolio, a professional e-learning portfolio, and that will be very important for your professional development. And what you see on the left, that figure that you see there is the framework that we will use during the whole course. In this framework, we will learn how to analyze a learning problem and a learning opportunity. We will learn how to design a specific objective learning materials and different assessment for our population or learners. We will develop the learning materials that we were thinking about in our design phase. Then we will implement this in that learning solution and we will evaluate, right? And as you can see, this is a framework that is very popular in instructional design that is called ADDIE, right? So analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. And we will learn for each of those specific steps or phases which theories in the instructional design or different learning theories and different instructional strategies are aligned with different theories in each of those phases, right? Next. The major assignments, and as you can see them here, we can see them like in a linear way, right? But what I want all of you to understand is that, for example, the instructional design project is something that you will do during the whole course. And while we're learning about the different theories and models, we will implement and design and develop during the whole course. And in the live sessions, we will use those times or those moments also to ask questions, practice with others, share our doubts or our new knowledge with our peers. And that will be an excellent and great moment to work with our teams, right? That is another thing that I want all of you to realize, and is that to design learning experiences, we have to be collaborative, right? And that is something that we did try to for you to develop in this course. So you will work with teams or with a team during the whole course, and in this team you will think about the problem, think about the learning solution, and the live sessions are going to be moments that you will use some of the time of the live session to work with your team, so you don't have to use extra time to work on your projects, right? We want that all of our sessions to be efficient. That is the word that I was looking for. Next. Now, individually, what is the instructional design project? So in this instructional design project, you will be tasked with a learning or performance problem, right? When I'm talking about learning problems, it's like in an educational level. And when I talk about performance problem, we're talking about companies, industries, or different government performance problems, right? In terms of learning. And here you will be tasked with a problem, or you can think about a problem that you have in your organizations or in your schools or in your universities and work on that problem if the whole team is okay with it, right? But sometimes we find that students struggle a little bit to try to get a learning problem or a performance problem. So we have several and different learning problems in different levels. So you can choose, so you can practice with those. And here you will learn how to analyze a specific context, analyze a specific learners, analyze a specific problem, identify if the problem that the company is having or the organization is having is really a learning problem, because that is something very important in instructional design. Not everything is a learning problem, right? And we as instructional designers need to develop those skills to actually identify if we are seeing a learning problem or a different problem. And in this sense, we are getting the gist of the importance of our role in all of the organizations, right? We will learn how to define learning objectives, identifying learning tasks, selecting relevant learning technologies that could be aligned with those learning objectives, and then we will develop the actual learning materials and assessments of those designs, right? So this is a very interesting project. Next. And then we will have different design case studies or scenarios, right? Each of these scenarios is specifically focused in one of those ADI phases, right? Or the instructional design framework that we're going to use. So we will have a case study that we might need to go deeper in the analysis phase and to put to practice all of our skills, doing a front-end analysis, an analysis of the context, analysis of the learners, analysis of the learning tasks, right? Then we have another scenario that is the design scenario in terms of thinking how we're going to close that learning gap or design a specific learning solution. Then we will have the implementation and then the evaluation. For this design case studies, each of the students or groups will choose one scenario to develop. You don't have to develop all the scenarios, because as you know, we only have 8 weeks, and what we want all of you to do is to focus on that design project. But this activity will give you a little bit more knowledge and practice in using a specific stage or phase of the ADI model, right? So you can choose one of these and develop it. Next. Okay, and that was EPOL 472. We say sometimes that this is the first course that you might take in the MasterTrack certificate, but because the MasterTrack certificate is very flexible, you can do first 472 and then 483, or you can do first 483 and then 472. Both of the courses are, complement of each other. And this particular course, the EPOL 473 Learning Technologies, is a course that is based on specifically learning technologies, as the name is saying, right? What we do in this class is we look at identifying and analyzing different learning technologies. And a learning technology is not only a device, it's not only an app, right? A learning technology could be any tool that we can use in our designs to make that learning experience more meaningful and impactful, right? So we will focus a little bit more on learning technologies and how can we identify different learning technology and evaluate learning technologies. And another thing that is very important in this course is that you will learn how to evaluate learning environments that are mainly based on learning technologies. And these learning environments, we call them technology enrich and enable learning environments. So this is like more specifically tailored to e-learning systems or e-learning solutions. That is why we say about learning technologies, but you will start developing skills to analyze, how to create, how to evaluate, and how to design an e-learning environment, right? So this is very, very important. Next. How are we going to do this, right? I was mentioning that this course is also very important because we will not only learn about different theories, because we will learn different theories here as well, different from 472 because they are specifically focused on e-learning environments, right? But the other important thing that we have to consider here is that we will learn how to develop our designer character, our designer philosophy, because we are all designers, right? And here we will connect and design our own designer toolkit in which we will have theories and models that will help us justify our design decisions. So we will have moments of reflection and moments of understanding how our role can impact learning for others, right? So here we will have also 3 specific activities. We will have an activity that is called Exploring Learning Technologies. This activity is mainly you work with your team. We can have different teams here. You work with your team identifying a specific learning technology, and you will have to research a little bit about that learning technology, apply that learning technology, and record yourself in a video and do a presentation about this learning technology so your peers in the course will learn about that technology. So sometimes we have 7 or 8 or 9 groups. So we will have 7 or 8 or 9 different learning technologies that we are going to learn about, right? So this is very interesting because we can see how our peers present a specific learning technologies, the drawbacks or the benefits, and we will learn about different technologies from our peers. And that is something that is very interesting, and we use it purposely because we use peer learning, and this is one of those activities for you to develop those skills. The other activity that we have is the design case studies on learning technologies. So here you will have a design case in which you will develop your skills in identifying learning technologies, developing learning objectives that are aligned with those learning technologies, developing assessment for that specific activity that you are creating. Is slightly different from the design case studies in EPOL 472 because here we will focus on activities that are related to different types of learning objectives, right? And here we have the e-portfolio development. In this case, or in this course, this activity is optional. But in either of the courses, you will have it like mandatory, and the other one is optional. So if you first take for EPOL 483, we suggest to our students that start working on your e-portfolio so you can have it already finished in EPOL 472 or vice versa, right? If you do it first on EPOL 472, you can keep improving it so we can give you feedback on that e-portfolio in 483. And what you see in the image are the topics that we will touch in that course, right? So here we will talk about the history of instructional design, different trends in learning technologies. We will learn about immersive and augmented reality technologies in learning environments. We will talk about the evolution of instructional design. And therefore, here we will have also some reflective moments, because if we are starting in this learning business or we are improving our skills, we must be up to date to everything that is happening in the world with new technologies and how we can introduce those technologies to our learning experiences to make those experiences meaningful and valuable for our learners. Next. Like I mentioned, we also see this as a linear way, but we will, for the design case studies specifically, we will have 3 submissions. In those submissions, teams will focus on the same case study, but in different levels, right? The first one is basic learning objectives and basic activities, then a little bit more complex. And then the last one is how can we transfer learning to other contexts? That for us is like the highest order level thinking in terms of designing learning experiences for more expert learners. And you will have to design different learning objectives, different learning activities, and different assessments for each of those moments. And the design case studies is, like I mentioned, is the same background, the same company, but here you will have to do the 3 scenarios. The one is converting specific regulations in the most like basic level of learning, then fostering an inclusive workplace culture. You will have to think how to design a program that would do that. And then the last one is improving the transfer of learning and performance to other contexts. That is why I was telling you that is a little bit more complex, but here you will have to do all the 3 submissions, not like in EPOL 472 that you pick one case and you develop it. Here you will have to work on the 3 submissions. Next. And the e-portfolio development, I cannot state the importance of this tool because it will allow all of you to showcase what you have been learning in the MasterTrack certificate. And it will help you start using that narrative of your designer perspective, your design philosophy, and how will you justify in the future those design decisions that you're going to make to create your learning experiences. Next. Okay, before we continue, I just want to mention, I don't know if our participants were asking about authoring tools, right? And it's a normal question that we have all the time. In this course, we will not learn how to use authoring tools. Sometimes some of our students, they use authoring tools to develop their learning experiences or the learning artifacts, but because you are part of the MasterTrack certificate, you will have access to LinkedIn Learning for free. And in LinkedIn Learning, we have a lot of tutorials for different authoring tools, right? So if you are going to use an authoring tool or learn how to do it, you will learn it by yourself, and we will give you feedback on how are you using that specific, for example, authoring tool, right? But it's not our main focus to learn how to use authoring tools in this MasterTrack certificate. Great.
Thank you for that. And yes, I see some folks are already asking about Q&A. We just have a bit more to go and we will be to the Q&A, but feel free to keep the questions going in the chat. I am keeping track of those so that we make sure to get them asked. Also, so as we go into the program format, this has already been touched on a bit, but just want to refresh and clarify for everybody that there are weekly video syncs. The courses are comprised of the class sessions, some group work, and then office hours done either remotely or via email and things like that. That are also a part of the class. For the weekly sync sessions, the courses are 8 weeks long, so the courses are separate. We'll get into, you can see the dates here. EPOL 472 runs the first 8 weeks of this fall. From August 25th is the first week, and courses are on Thursdays from 5 to 8 Central Time. That's for the live session, and then EPOL 483 is Thursday, starting October 20th for 8 weeks from 5 to 8 Central Standard Time as well for the live sessions. The first 2 live sessions of the courses are required. Participation in all other sessions is highly encouraged, so you get the most out of the courses, be able to participate with your classmates, wonderful faculty, TAs when we have them in the courses as well, and really how you can get the most out of your courses. They're really designed for you and to get the most impact on your coursework and learning. You can also expect about 12 hours outside of the live sessions of coursework per week, give or take on that, depending on how fast you read and do work. So we had talked briefly about 3 to 5 months to completion. Here's some of those options here. There's a lot of variety. Most of you, unless you had started in a previous semester, like last spring, maybe you took the summer off, or you started this summer and are finishing up this fall. As you can see there are all of the different ways in which you might finish, but really it just depends on which semester you start in. The 5-month option really is for those if they start in the second half in fall term B, and then would try and complete with spring A course, because there is that we do shut down for about a month or so in between fall and spring courses, so there's a little bit of a break there, and so that's how you might end up in the 5 months. But for most folks, if you're starting this fall, you would finish in 4 months. Same if you started in the summer and are finishing up this fall, you will likely finish in 4 months. Do want to give a quick shout out that the MasterTrack program and the 2 courses in this program are 2 required courses in the Instructional Design Technology Organization online master's program that we have here at the College of Education. They apply directly into that program, and so that would be 2 less courses that you would need to take if you are pursuing a master's degree with us here at the College of Education. Just want to shout out that if you are interested in the master's program, you can apply for that program while you're still in the MasterTrack program. We encourage you to try and complete the MasterTrack program first before you start your master's degree with us, because the MasterTrack program, the courses are offered at a reduced tuition rate. So if you want that reduced tuition rate and the MasterTrack certificate, please complete it first before starting your master's degree program. If you have questions about that, please email us and we will work with you. Many students do go through this pathway and take advantage of this. And so it is something that we are very familiar at working with and can help you through that. But if you're finishing up your MasterTrack program, fall term B applications close September 15th. You can apply for that before you have finished your second course in the program. And if you finish both courses this fall and would like to start the master's degree program in the spring, term A applications close December 1st. We have had some questions about career services for Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate students. We do have some career services. There's a variety of asynchronous career services and presentations and resources that are available through career services here at the university. Also, you can schedule individual career coaching sessions with myself for things like reviewing your resume, cover letters, talking about interviews, where to look for jobs, and things like that. But you can schedule those appointments one-on-one with me. And for those that are looking to enroll in the program, just a quick reminder that a bachelor's degree is required. Total program cost for the 2 courses is currently $2,384. It is $1,192 individually. If you enroll for both courses at the same time, you will be billed for both courses. But if you enroll in one course and then take another course later, you will be billed for each course separately. If you have questions about that, please email us and we can work with you on that. There are also individual payment plans that you can pay that divided up through the Office of Financial Aid. There is information on that with the payment plans that are available. There is not financial aid for this program because it is already offered at a reduced tuition rate, but the payment plan is available. Also, if you have an employer that is paying for your courses or something like that, that same information is available through that paymybill.illinois.edu/payment/payment plan that is available there. If you are interested in enrolling in the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program, you can go to the website that is on the screen, and it will take you to the non-degree application portal, which is on here on the slide. You will want to click the blue Start Your Non-Degree Application button there in order to apply for the program. For fall 2025, applications are still open. Applications for fall term A. So if you're wanting to take EPOL 472, that closes on August 11th, which is just next week. And courses start in, I guess, just about 3 weeks here on the week of August 25th. If you're wanting to start with EPOL 472 courses, the applications for that close on October 6th, and class starts the week of October 20th. We're getting ready to move into the question and answer portion of that. I see a number of questions that have still gone through here, so it is great to be able to answer those. If you have questions, you can always email us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu if you're watching this back later. If you think of something later, also for those that are here with us currently, and we will answer those questions. I do see a quick question here about if you can take 483 before 472. Many students do that. You can take them in either order. You don't have to take both courses in a semester also. Sometimes folks will take one in the fall and then another in the spring and take some time off in between. That is totally fine. And many people do that to balance work life, other requirements that they have going on. As we know, many people are quite busy. With that, we really hope that you choose to join us here at the University of Illinois. We think we're pretty great. We're a top tier research institution. As a student, you do get access to our university library system, which you can still access remotely to check out books and other things like that. We are number 3 ranked by U.S. News and World Report for our online master's degree program that includes the Instructional Design, Technology, and Organization Masters that we mentioned earlier. When you look at costs, we think we're pretty affordable compared to our peers. We have world-class faculty. Our programs are pretty diverse and they are built with student engagement and a student focus in mind. And we try to have as many resources available for online students as we can. There is just our ranking for reference, but we really hope that you consider joining us at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. We really hope to see you in class this fall. Yeah, so now we are to the questions. So I'm gonna go back through and get things answered for everyone. I know some of the questions have already been answered. We might answer those again live. Looking at the number of people we have, if you have a question, if you can use the raise your hand function in Zoom, we'd be happy to call on you and you could ask your question live. If you don't want to ask your question live, you can type it in the chat. You can even send it to me privately, and nobody has to know what you asked. So no shame at all. All questions are fair game. We really appreciate you joining us today. And while folks are thinking of questions, just a reminder that this will get emailed out to everybody afterwards.
Sorry, I have been reading some of the questions. Do you think that, I can jump in and maybe if I am missing something, you will
Absolutely. Go for it.
Great. So, in regards of the Coursera course that we have available for free for everybody, as you can see, the course is called Instructional Design Foundations and Applications. That is a course that we normally, if we have some students starting with EPOL 483, we suggest students, if they don't have any experience or expertise in instructional design, to take that course before starting with or 472 or 483 because it's the foundation. And as you can see, it's just 3 stages of the analysis part. So in that course, you only have access to understanding some of the theories and some of the models and some of the practices that we use in the analysis phase if we're talking about the whole framework, the ADDIE framework, right? So it's not going to repeat all of the things that you see in the whole course, because then we will see design, then we will see development, then we will see implementation, and then we will see evaluation, right? So it's like the first part of the analysis. So it will be a complement. It will not be something that you will repeat. In terms of the portfolio, we use a software that is called Adobe Express, that we think is very flexible for students to use. And if you have already some projects and things to showcase, please use this moments to include those projects in the portfolio that you're creating. What we want is for you to have a tool to use for your future, right? Sometimes we have students that have their portfolio already or in Google, or they have a specific website. So we can also give feedback on those portfolios. We don't want you to do double work, right? But most of our students, they don't have a portfolio or don't know how to approach a portfolio. So that is why we suggest to use Adobe Express. That is for free for all of the UIUC students. So you will have access to the whole Adobe suite. That is something that you have to consider and take advantage of. So we will have or give feedback on any other projects that you can include in that portfolio. And also we have different portfolios of students that we use in our courses that we have permission from them to showcase to our students, so they have an idea on how to design their own portfolios, right? The other thing is that in terms of, you know, translating your own skills to other type of projects, right? We will have office hours. So it's not only the live sessions that we are together, but we have office hours with me and with the TA in which you can bring all of your doubts, all of your projects, all of your ideas, and we can evaluate those as well in terms of how are we going to translate your skills, for example, in the creation of a curriculum, right? When we talk about that curriculum, it's a big program with different courses, with different approaches, with different learners. You will have developed those skills to evaluate how to translate or how to transfer all of those skills that you learn in creating one course, in translating those or transferring those and creating a whole program, right? And if you have an idea on how to do it and you want to share with us in our office hours, so feel free to do that, because we are a learning community. When we are engaged in this MasterTrack certificate and in the master's program, right? We are a whole learning community and we love learning, right? So, you know, it's the only thing that I do. So if you have new ideas, new projects, bring those to our office hours and we will work on those as well. We will not use other softwares or tools in our courses. Sometimes students ask if they have to buy different softwares or different things. So we're not using those. We want you to develop, you know, the skills and competencies to think about how to create learning experiences and then how to identify different technologies to use it. So in this specific MasterTrack, we don't use, or you don't have to pay for anything. You will have a textbook for both of the courses. Like for 472, you might need to purchase, but it's available in the library. And for EPOL 483, it's an online textbook that you will have access with your UIUC credentials. So you don't have to buy anything in terms of learning materials. What else? What am I missing?
I do see somebody that is said that they are a creative arts educator and they're interested in translating performance-based learning into structured curriculum. Is this program, do you think it would be helpful for them for
Yes,
training
for sure,
purposes?
for sure. And as I was mentioning, we have a lot of our students are experienced and have a lot of expertise in education. And because we share of all of our expertise with others and with your teams, they find it extremely valuable in terms of how they can perceive different learning problems from different perspectives. So in just that sense, it's highly applicable to different learning problems. So you will have those skills to translate your courses to a bigger program or bigger programs, right?
One other question. I'm going to go ahead and launch our last poll here while folks are getting in their last questions. We still have like 12 minutes of time, so there's plenty of time for that, but I do see that some people are starting to have to take off, which I totally understand over this hour and in the day. But we do have a question of, so what are the assignment types? We have somebody who's asking here a bit about assignments and if there are tests or quizzes.
So we don't have any quizzes or assessments online. The only assessments are the design case studies, the instructional design project, and the portfolio for EPOL 472. We work on giving formative feedback during the whole courses so you can work on, scaffolding your skill development. That is our only intention, that you can actually learn and practice designing learning experiences. So we only have those assessments or activities that are going to be graded. In terms of time, EPOL 472 is a little bit more time intensive than EPOL 483, and it's because it's a very foundational course, right? So you will have to be very committed to work on your own learning design projects, right? And plan ahead your work schedule. Most of our students are students workers. So at the beginning, we try to work with them with their learning plan and how to plan for them to be able to complete all the major assignments that are the instructional design projects, the design cases, and the e-portfolio.
One other question, and I apologize if you already answered this. We had a question, will people be able to use current projects that they're working on in their course throughout the course that they might already be working on, either as a part of their career and things like that, or how could they be incorporated?
In terms of the course, because this is a team or group intensive experience, right? If you propose to your group to work on your project and they are like happy to do it, it's okay to work on your project, but we suggest to our students to use different types of projects so they can challenge themselves, right? But you can propose your own projects. And if you want to include your projects in your e-portfolio, that's also okay. And if you want to discuss how to improve your own projects or the things that you're working on in our office hours, that is also okay to bring it up. And to finish, we don't use any other software or platforms or authoring tools to design our learning experiences. When we think about designing learning experiences, we believe that if we have the foundational knowledge, then we can use any tool or any software to design and communicate that learning experience, right? But we have to have the foundational knowledge to do that. And then in EPOL 483, if we have that foundational knowledge, we can identify different learning technologies that are not authoring tools or software, but different ways of designing learning activities or assessments, right? When we have our foundational knowledge, it's going to be more valuable or meaningful to learn how to identify different learning technologies that we can use in our learning experiences so they can be more appropriate for our learners and appropriate to solve a specific learning problem or learning performance problem.
Any other questions? Looks like Gina already answered this, but in case folks did not see the chat, the courses are offered again in the spring and are currently slated to also be offered again in the summer. We encourage you to check our website, or you can email us and we can give you that web link where we keep all of the most current course information up to date. And if you are interested in when those courses will be offered, that information is online.
Another thing that I want to mention is that when we are working on our asynchronous portion of the course, you will have access to different learning materials that were designed but by all of our faculty. So it's not only that me that you're going to see every day, like in the live sessions, we'll be together, but you will have access to all of our faculty in different moments or videos or instructional materials. So that is also very is extremely valuable in this MasterTrack certificate. I'm done.
No, thank you all for all of the great answers. And it is so good to see you again. Any other questions for folks? We do appreciate you all being here today and for all of the great questions that we have gotten so far. Again, if we missed something, if there's something that you think of later, please email us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu and we will be sure to get you the answer to your question or work with you on your individual situation that I think I've seen come up at least a couple times with some people where they had some specific questions. We are happy to work through those with you, get you the answers you need.
No, thank you both for your time. This was very insightful. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has completed the poll. Looks like everybody who's still here has done that already. Again, just appreciate the feedback. And thank you all for attending today. With that, I think we will call it a wrap. We hope that you have a great rest of the day, and we hope that you consider joining us here at the University of Illinois in our Instructional Design MasterTrack program. We hope to see you this fall. Take care, everyone.
Bye.